Here today to show you something that I'm working on for a client. I work for Faber-Castell and I make videos on their YouTube channel called Just Add Imagination. And this is something that I'm doing for their channel, but I thought it'd be fun if I shared it here too. So what we're gonna do is mix up shaving cream and food coloring to make this creamy, foamy paint. And I just thought it would be fun to show you and what it looks like on the paper before, during, and after. And then, like I said, I'm turning this into a video for Faber-Castell for kids, but it's perfect for the One Little Tag Craft Challenge or any of us that love to do mixed media because the results are yummy. So let me get my paper here. So this is not super spectacular, but do you see how translucent or layered the colors are? And then you definitely get, like where there were peaks and valleys in the shaving cream, you get concentrations of color. And we mash it all over, but not the walls, just on the paper. But it smells nice. That's one of the things about working with shaving cream. It is that it's a tactile experience, but it's also an olfactory experience. And you can do like menthol. So if you're doing this with kids with sensory issues, it's fun. But it's also fun just for me. I think it smells nice. So there's one. Here's another one that I did. And again, you can kind of see these little ridges and valleys. Okay, and you see this here? That is where I actually hit it with a heat gun. And it makes like little speckle textures, which I thought was kind of cool. And then this is one that I add layers and layers and layers and layers and layers and layers. And one of the cool things about when you do all those layers is whichever color grabs first, it's much like watercolor crayons. Whichever color gets there first, that soaks into the paper, and then it will layer a little bit on top, but it will not grab as hard. So if your yellow goes down first, that's what's going to be primarily what stains the paper. So yeah, we're using food coloring, and I will demonstrate it for you. I was going to do this book. So originally my project was to make a book with the kids on that channel. And to take the paper, color the paper with the stuff, and then turn it into this cute little book. And let me show you the little cute book with all the little fun pages that you can write. But that's when I'm like looking at this and I went, hey now, that looks like tags. I can make tags out of that, right? Boom. So aren't those cute? Wouldn't this be great backgrounds for our tags? So that's why I want to demonstrate it for you. Because honestly, if you have food coloring and shaving cream in your house, you are golden this week. And it's just a fun technique. We haven't done like a technique-based challenge lately. We've done a lot of like prompts type of challenges. So we're gonna actually play.
Okay, so now's a good time for me to speed up the video a little bit so you can see what we're doing. Now this is an older set of shaving cream paints. They are about 2 hours old, and you can see that the colors actually get a lot more vibrant as they sit. But we're gonna make some fresh. So of course you're going to start off by putting some shaving cream in a container, and I just use this little glass bowl that I have, but go ahead and fill it all the way up and then add a few drops of your food coloring. Now this is what makes it so great, is that you can actually mix the colors into the shaving cream and it'll give it that kind of swirly look. So you have to decide whether or not you want it to be completely mixed or only partially mixed. That is kind of up to you. So now that you've got your paint mixed up, you're kind of ready to go. I like to use craft sticks or palette knives to kind of spread it around. It's a lot like frosting. Now, just a reminder again, this is also, it has an odor to it that's very pleasant. You know, pick a shaving cream smell that you like, but just go ahead, smear it around like frosting, and then you can do this kind of Rorschach test ink blot technique where you just fold it in half and smoosh it around. Again, this is a very tactile experience too. You can actually feel the foamy paint through the paper, and you can make little designs by using your fingernails or whatever. So when you open it up, you'll see that it has now peaks and valleys in kind of a serendipitous way. I actually added a few more colors and kind of skipped ahead, but now here's where the fun starts. You could, of course, let this air dry, but what I did instead was I hit it with the heat gun, and as you can see, as the shaving cream kind of evaporates rapidly, what you get are these little speckles and freckles and kind of dotty textures that you don't get if you let it air dry. So I love this texture. Also, as the shaving cream evaporates, it's almost like this kind of translucent, leery, cloudy look. It's actually really reminiscent to ice dyeing, but you're doing it with shaving cream instead. And it's very translucent. You get all of this kind of depth of layer of color, which I just absolutely adore. I think it's great. Also, it leaves the paper very sueded and very soft. So even after the whip or the shaving cream is gone, you still kind of have this texture left on top. And I am showing you here just all of those kind of little detailed areas and how cool and soft it really is. Now, by the way, if you find that it leaves too many residue, chunky bits on top for you, you can go back over it with a baby wipe and just kind of knock that off and pick up some of that residue. Again, it doesn't bother me. I like that chunky texture, but if it's a little too much for you, you can always use the baby wipe technique. So I wanted to show you real quick on a tag, just because it's a lot of fun to do tags like this too. And once you make up all this paint, you might as well use it. As I mentioned, as it dries, it will become a more intense color, but that's just because the shaving cream is evaporating out, leaving more intense food color left behind. So you can just absolutely scrape it on and use it as a backdrop. And much like using a texture paste, you can also scrape it through a stencil, which I thought was, frankly, kind of a smart idea. Pat myself on the back for that one. But it's just another way of doing like that kind of texture paint look without having to pay the price for that. So once again, we're going to hit it with the heat gun and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. So when it's dry, it's funny because it almost looks stained rather than painted. And I got a question when I was doing this Periscope, can you stamp on top of it? And the answer is yes. Yes, you can. So here I'm using my Favorite Things hybrid stamp ink and just going over the top of it. And as you can see, it soaks right in, it dries right away. So it allows you to layer even on top of that shaving cream paint. So for this last little bit, I'm speeding it up really fast just to show you, but I kind of mixed the colors on this credit card that I'm using, and I'm just dragging it through the stencil. So I'm leaving behind bits of yellow and bits of green and blue, and I'm not gonna lie, this is some of the most beautiful background papers I have ever made. I just cannot tell you how much I love them. I did try and sprinkle a little bit of glitter on top to see if the shaving cream would act as a binder and hold it on. As it turns out, no, it does not. It will rub right off. So don't do what I did. But the color itself is just absolutely stunning. And I really enjoy this technique, and I hope you have too. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this Periscope rebroadcast. Make sure you follow me at Craft Test Dummy over there so you can see them live and participate. Thanks for watching and have a crafty day.